Happy Wednesday, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on UpNorthLive Unscripted. The sun is out. It is a beautiful fall day today, and it's a bit warmer than the past couple of days. Sounds like the trend is it's going to keep on getting warmer and warmer every day this week. So, Joe, what is the high temperature we're going to see at some point this week?
Well, I think by Friday, some maybe low and mid 70s.
Wow.
Back in the forecast.
So it was just 45 the other day.
Just like going in a time machine, back a month or two, it seems like.
Yeah.
But it's going to stick around. So we're back into that warm, dry stretch, which we've been kind of dealing with quite a bit. Of course, it was cool yesterday and even back into Monday. But warm weather, but that, you know what? It'll be a nice weekend coming up. So we'll take a look at that. Also, when we may get some rain, we could use more. We'll have all that and a full look at that forecast a little later.
All right. Thank you, Joe. We're going to start with our top local story of the day. So today, Grand Traverse County Commissioners approved a request to ask the state to help make a county intersection safer. Now, this intersection is kind of near our station here in Leelanau County, because we are right in between Leelanau and Grand Traverse County. And it is the intersection of Gray and Cedar Run Road. So our Allie Baxter watched this meeting and has the very latest.
Very well-traveled area.
Grand Traverse County Commissioners may not have an exact number for how many people drive these roads every day, but they know it gets pretty busy.
Suspect that we just paved old logging roads years and years and years ago and called it good.
And it could be getting busier with more developments planned along Gray Road and a looming construction project next year on M22 and 72.
A lot of that traffic's going to be rerouted
to these secondary roads that may not be able to handle it.
Accidents happen there so frequently that some of the neighbors in that area keep an accident kit in their home so that they can go out to help people.
We looked at data for this specific intersection from traffic crash statistics collected by 58 crashes were reported happening here from 2004 to 2023.
How long do we have to wait to have a fatality? Because it's just every day is playing the lottery there.
The intersection already had a fatal crash. It happened in 2013.
I had a cousin pass away at an intersection that has since been upgraded. And it's like, man, why couldn't we get on top of that sooner?
3 ideas were shared for potential changes. A temporary light during construction next year for $200,000, a permanent light with left turn lanes for $500,000, and building a roundabout for $1 million. But the local road commissions don't have the money to pay for any of these options.
Sometimes they're prioritized not by how dangerous they are, but the fact that nobody's died there yet, and as the mother of a child who died and because of a speeding driver, I find that unacceptable.
Which is why both Grand Traverse and Leelanau counties are asking the state for help with funding for safety improvements.
I think that our government needs to.
Oh, sorry about that. Looks like we kind of cut out of Allie's package a little too soon. So Allie's joining us live now. So Allie, is there anything that we missed at the end of your story there?
Yeah, I was just following along, Maya, because I saw us come on screen all of a sudden. And I was like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen yet. But yeah, just at the end of that story, it comes back around to Commissioner Rob Henschel. And there's just this push from commissioners there, really trying to get across that we shouldn't have to wait for fatalities or deaths to happen at intersections for that to really light a fire as far as funding or safety improvements go. So that's kind of how things ended at the end of that story.
And so what are some of the different options being thrown around right now to try to make that intersection safer?
Yeah, so there's 3 main options. I believe we did get to see that part of the story. So one of those options is they want to do a temporary light when that M72 and M22 construction starts. And I was actually told, I was able to talk to Penny Morris today. She's the one who brought this resolution forward and got Leelanau County together to make this happen. She was actually telling me, I had a phone call with her earlier, that MDOT is actually not wanting to even pay for that temporary light because they are not designating a certain route or a detour for people to use when that roundabout is being constructed at M22 and M72. So that's why they are having to maybe pay for that themselves as well. So that's $200,000 to just do some temporary lighting there. Permanent lighting was also brought up, and having left turn lanes there. That would be $500,000. And then, of course, which is something that is our favorite thing to see around here, which is roundabouts. Ideally, they said they would love to see a roundabout there. They don't know logistically if it's possible, just looking at that corridor right there. But that would be the safest and best option, is having a roundabout. That would be $1 million.
And so we're still kind of in the beginning stages of anything actually happening, right?
Right. This is super duper early. They are just talking about it right now. And really the reason that they're coming together with Leelanau about this is because, like it was said in that story, there's not local funding there as far as road commissions go. Our local road commissions already don't get a lot of funding from the state to be able to tackle projects that aren't really planned for way, way in advance. So that's why they're coming together with Leelanau. They said it was an idea that was brought forth by Representative Betsy Kofia. She said, hey, if you guys get together, and the reason Leelanau is being brought into this is because a lot of people who live in Leelanau are using that same intersection right there. So she said the best thing to do is come together, say this is really important to both of your counties, and tell the state that, get the state involved in being responsible for some of these safety improvements.
And this is an intersection, like we mentioned, that's pretty close to our station. So I know I used to drive past this intersection every day. I'm sure you drove past it a lot as well, or through it, I should say. And there were quite a few times there was a period of time where I was driving past it every day for work. And there were a number of times where traffic would be so backed up because there was an accident at that intersection. So it's one thing to hear about, like, oh, there's been, I think you said 58 accidents, but then to actually have to drive through that intersection and then see those accidents, it really just makes it pretty surreal.
Right. And I think, because that intersection is so close to our station, Maya, you and I, we have each gone on Gray Road to turn left before. And that is pretty hard to do. You kind of have to keep your head on a swivel as far as looking each direction of, okay, is someone going to come speeding around the corner and I need to get out really quickly? Or am I going to have to turn this way and make sure that someone hasn't stopped to turn onto Gray Road as well? So there's a lot of different areas and places you have to look. And something that Commissioner Morris brought up as well is that this is really close to Traverse City West Senior High School. So you have a lot of young drivers in the area too that maybe, they're just hitting the road and they're not super familiar with some of the rules or the speed limits. And this is an area where we just maybe need to look a little more closely, and we shouldn't wait for something really bad to happen there. We need to be proactive and do something now.
So what are the next steps?
So the next steps right now that the two commissions have gotten together and said, hey, this is really important to us, they are going to forward this to Lansing, to the state, and start that dialogue there of, hey, is there any kind of grant funding or anything that we can do to address this intersection? Already, I believe it's the Grand Traverse County Road Commission has gotten a safety grant to do a traffic study of the area to get more information and more data so that they can have concrete numbers to take to Lansing as well.
Anything else you want to mention about your story today, Allie?
I thought it was really interesting because, when we do, this is tied in with our question of the day, which I know you're going to get to in just a second. Sometimes we try not to do super specific questions of the day. We want to make this applicable for everyone across northern Michigan, but this is something we really wanted feedback about. We want to know, hey, for those of you who are in Leelanau and Grand Traverse County, do you think this intersection is a problem? And I'm just going to read real quick because there were a couple comments that people left on my Facebook page that I thought were pretty interesting and kind of put things in perspective for people who live on the roads right around that intersection. Molly said she's a Long Lake resident that travels this area frequently, and she can definitely say it's not safe. A four-way stop would be another option that she would like to see. And then Layla, I thought this was a really interesting comment by Layla. She's a resident living near the corner with young children. She can confidently say everyone living in close proximity to the corner wants safety measures put in place. She says we are often the first to respond to the numerous accidents that happen on this corner. That's something Commissioner Morris had brought, having that accident kit that some of those homes have. She said we even had a car take out a tree on our side yard Thankfully, it stopped it from entering our backyard where I had just been playing with my kids. We don't want to wait for a fatality that could have been prevented before something is done. So we are hearing a lot of feedback from the community about this, and I know you'll go more into that, Maya.
Yes, Allie, thanks so much for joining us. And again, Allie mentioned our question of the day today is, do you think the intersection of Cedar Run and Gray Roads in Grand Traverse County is potentially dangerous and needs change? You can scan the QR code on your screen right now, but 81% say yes, 19% say no, and it looks like 279 people have voted so far. And we also posted this on our Facebook page. Allie read a couple of comments that she got on her own personal Facebook page. On the Up North Live page, we have 49 comments. So we can take a look at some of those a little later, but we have a few other stories to get to first. So there is a new housing project that is going to bring 170 new homes to a community that is in need of homes. So the project recently received approval for brownfield TIF funding from Grand Traverse County commissioners. And this initiative is months in the making, and it's seen as a significant step forward to address housing shortages in northern Michigan. So here's Mark Schlett with that full story.
If this is approved, we plan for groundbreaking very, very, very soon on the site.
And this is the site in Grand Traverse County's East Bay Township, where developers once again have big plans.
The site, if you're familiar with it, has had 2 previous development attempts that have failed. There's some trickiness to this site.
But in order to transform this 36-acre parcel of land off of Brigantine Boulevard into an entirely new neighborhood, the developers, Allen Edward Homes, were requesting brownfield funding from the county. Now, such funding used to be restricted to sites with environmental concerns, but not any longer.
We believe with the new TIF law and the reimbursements we can get for the money we invest, we can have the third one be a charm, and we can bring 170 single-family homes to a market that's very constrained with a housing crisis.
The funds can be used to address housing with restrictions that a portion of the units be workforce income accessible.
This would actually be the first below market rate housing that's come to East Bay Township, which is exciting. And this is a unique model with the single-family detached homes that are for rent.
170 homes, about 35 of them with reduced rents for those making 120% of the annual median income or less.
What does that look like in terms of raw numbers? So our 3-bedroom without the subsidy will come in at about $3,000 a month. And the 3-bedroom workforce housing will come in at about $2,300 a month.
Multiple models from 3 to 5 bedrooms, with 35 of them being locked into more affordable rental rates for at least 14 years. Rentals, but not an apartment complex, something supporters believe improves the housing diversity and in the long run may free up more affordable housing options for others once folks can move in here.
We recognize that there are specific infrastructure needs with this project that are different than an apartment building, right? So it's much more expensive to do a complete neighborhood, which is what we're seeing a lot of people still want.
Although some raise questions about the need for housing that's even more affordable, in the end, commissioners unanimously approved the brownfield TIF funding for the project. The developer gets tax breaks and lower costs to build, and the renters soon will have more options in a community desperately in need of them.
We know that there's a crisis in the area, both in terms of supply and affordability. And so we're really excited, again, partner with the local municipality to bring this market to fruition.
And we have one more story to share with you before we take a first commercial break. So with fall in the air here in northern Michigan, there's a whole lot of things to do across the area. And our meteorologist, Trevor Robideau, explored one of those places, Jacob's Farm, and has a look at what you can do there this fall.
Jacob's Farm is a 4th-generation 40-acre farm with a centennial barn that sits off of M72 West in Grand Traverse County. It's also home to a corn maze that has turned out to be a world-class tourist and family fun attraction.
We like this to be kind of a theme of, some places it's kids bring the parents, like a Disneyland or something. This is the other way around. We like to have parents being able to come here, enjoy the festivities of adult beverages and food, and the kids get to have a playground to play in.
One of the most popular attractions here is the 10-acre corn maze that can take anywhere from 30 minutes to over an hour to explore. The theme of the maze changes every year. This year's theme is circus.
Earlier in the season, we kind of tied that in. We had a traveling zoo here for a little while. And so during the season, we like to pull out a lot of surprises. But the main feature is a corn maze.
And that isn't all. Jacob's Farm will cap things off close to Halloween with some scary surprises.
And then we do with our big finale, which would be October 26th, is Thriller Night. And for one night, the owners, the fourth generation owners, they allow the spirits to leave the barn and infest the corn maze. And so it's at night, and there's quite a few surprises out there during the night for those that choose to dare to go through the maze from 7 till last entry goes in around 9 o'clock.
And if that doesn't interest you, there are tons of other activities for both the kids and adults alike.
It's really, I guess the best explanation was, it's kind of like a Norman Rockwell painting. You got all different generations here at the same time enjoying the farm, and everybody gets to have their little piece while they're here.
Whether it's to have some fun or just relax and enjoy live entertainment, Jacobs Farm is the place to stop as you explore Michigan this fall. In Grand Traverse County, Trevor Robideau, Up North Live News.
We're going to take a quick break, but Joe will have more on your forecast in just a few minutes.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Well, after getting a little bit of rain the past couple days, looks like we are in another dry stretch. So, Joe, is there any rain in the forecast anytime soon?
No, there's not.
None?
Yeah, to answer that, just simply, there's not. I have it dry through at least next Tuesday, maybe Wednesday.
Wow.
We'll see. Obviously it's the atmosphere and things can happen, but at least the big overall pattern right now keeps it pretty quiet, Maya.
Yeah.
Nice day today, though. The sun was out. This is the Boardman River. So this is in we have a couple Jack's Landings. If you're watching over by Fletcher Pond, there's one there. This is in Grand Traverse County off Cass Road. And take a look at all the fall color out there. Looking at the video here, Up North Live Skyview drone, pretty close, I would say, to peak here. Nice view, though. You don't get that driving along. You don't get the overhead view from the drone there. That was nice. And as we mentioned earlier, there's the Boardman River kind of snaking along as well. That was earlier today. Here's a look right now around northern Michigan. Whitefish Point, Mackinac City, some nice pink skies there. We're inching in on sunset anytime here now, Bel Air and Cadillac. But notice the sun is out. There's a few clouds, but overall a nice evening. It was warmer today. Temperatures right now are generally in the 50s. Ludington and Cadillac 48, but it was a little warmer today with some of the sunshine. And we're going to start turning our wind now tonight out of the southwest as high pressure sits south of St. Louis tonight. And again, no major systems of note heading anywhere toward us. Kind of an interesting look, though, tonight at most of the country here, satellite picture and radar combined. Not much happening here, but if you head down south of us, there's a freeze warning all the way down into Kentucky. A cold night tonight for growing interest there. They're expecting a hard freeze for some of the farmers and crops there. And then out in the center of the country, they're dealing with what we have, very dry weather, a red flag warning for critical fire danger from Minneapolis all the way out to Wyoming tonight. We'll kind of run through Stormcast quickly because there's not much to show you. It's going to be sunny tomorrow. It's going to be sunny Friday. And then Saturday, maybe to the north, a couple clouds, but that's about it. Temperatures will be in the 60s and 70s as we move forward here through Tuesday. It's going to be warm. And again, we talked about the dry stretch. So let's run out from Thursday through next week. There's northern Michigan. Just dry. Not much heading to our way. Maybe a couple showers a week from now if you have weekend plans. Yeah, nice. Look at Saturday and Sunday. Look at those temperatures too. Partly to mostly sunny and pleasant. And there is the extended forecast. Again, no rain, at least in this one, all the way through next Wednesday. It looks dry. That being said, it is also going to be a warm, comfortable stretch of mid-October weather, mid to late October weather coming up here, Maya.
No Rain. It's a good song by Blind Melon.
Blind Melon? I'm proud of you.
Of course. We'll be playing that a lot the next couple of days. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll check in with Sports Director Harrison Beebe in just a few minutes. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's just bring in sports director Harrison Beebe right away and see what he's working on in the sports world today. Hey, Harrison.
Hey, Maya. Yeah, I heard we're a little short on time, so let's get right to it. The golf game is hitting a big week. The girls' golf state finals are going to be held this weekend. We've got teams represented in divisions 2, 3, and 4, and today we're spotlighting the Division 4 competitors, Traverse City St. Francis. The girls have made the state finals several years in a row, and a big reason why is their senior leader. You see her right there, Grace Slocum. She's been a top 10 finisher in the state finals each of her first 3 seasons competing down there. She was 8th her freshman year, 3rd her sophomore year, 4th her junior year. So she really wants that state title. In fact, she's 9 for 9, Maya, in tournaments so far this season. So she'd love to cap that off with a 10 for 10 finish by winning the state championship, the one state title she hasn't been able to bring home this Saturday. The girls golf finals for Division 4, those will take place at Michigan State, Forest Acres West. It's a popular course. Grace thinks she's played there about 50 times, so that should give her a somewhat home field advantage.
All right, Harrison, we have a little more time. So what else is going on in the sports world today that you want to talk about?
Really just kind of kicking around till we get to the weekend. We know high school football is going to pick up on Friday. We know this weekend, Saturday, Michigan and Michigan State are both back off their bye weeks from a week ago. Michigan's going to be taking on Illinois in that crucial matchup that we talked about yesterday here in Unscripted. The Spartans, I don't know how well it's going to go for them. They've got to take on Iowa in a primetime game on Saturday night. But no matter what, should be easier than the opponents they've faced the past few games in Ohio State and Oregon. So hopefully the Spartans can get a bounce back win there.
And of course, a big game for the Lions as they're heading to Minnesota to take on the undefeated Vikings. So big one there. Oh, there you are.
Well, and you should give us a breakdown of that. You'll be at that game.
I'll give you a breakdown after the game. How about that?
That sounds like a good plan.
All right. Thanks so much, Harrison, for joining us for that sports update. We are going to take another quick break, but we will check back in with our question of the day and the live results in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Our question of the day today is, do you think the intersection of Cedar Run and Gray Roads in Grand Traverse County is potentially dangerous and needs change? 81% of voters say yes. We have a bunch of comments on our Facebook post. A few of them I'll read. Mary says, yes, it needs a light desperately. So many people don't pay attention and they just don't care and pull out or turn right in front of you when you're there in the other lane. I've had quite a few close calls there. Elizabeth says it can be a tough intersection. Maybe a four-way stop would help. And Susan says, I've seen so many accidents there. You can join in the conversation by going to our Up North Live Facebook page. But that'll do it for Up North Live Unscripted tonight. We'll see you at 11.